I've always been creating one way or another, but it wasn't really until I took a trip. I was actually hitchhiking through New Zealand, and I got picked up by some Maoris, and their local tradition is bone carving. And I actually got to stay at a carving school for a couple weeks and watch them do what they do. And just that process was like, wow, this is awesome. So as soon as I moved back home, I built a little studio and I immediately started carving as much as I could, and I had kind of found like the vehicle that led me into the area that I am now of really large scale, full wood sculptures, crafting pieces out of a shape that doesn't yet exist. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't get some bit of reference where I think, wow, I love that shape, and if I duplicated that 100 times over and laid it on top of itself, that's how I can make this piece look this way. Patterns are everywhere in every single element, from nature itself, which, man, it throws out amazing things to look at and reference, to fabrics, fashion, you know, you name it. There's all these great elements for reference material that are just waiting to be looked at. And I start sketching them out and I start laying them out in a variety of different ways and kind of pick of how does this blend well together and relate to each other. And then I start thinking about the materials I'm going to use and the scale that I'm going to work with. And I think about what's the background piece that it's going to be on, which therefore is going to drive kind of my color story that I'm going to tie it into. And that's when I really get this clear idea in my head of this is what the end product's going to be. Okay, if this piece looks like this in this shape and has this shadow and this wood grain pattern on it, I could tie this color into it, and that's going to really come together. I really like materials that have been beaten and worn and aged and tell a story all their own just by looking at them because they've been around for a while. And I like to contrast that with the pieces that I make that are really organized and structured. It's the rough versus the polish. I think that's a really cool look. My goal is to make something that someone will stop and say, wow, look at that, and just be happy with how beautiful of a creation I've made. It's so amazing to show something publicly and have people react to it. I want my things to be visible to as many people as possible because I'm very proud of what I do. I really like what I make, and I want people to be able to see that. So what Raw gave me was, really, it was such an easy jump off point. It opened a lot of doors for me. Such an supportive and generous community to become a part of. It really kind of helped urge me on and gave me the idea that, you know, this is really something that I can do. I can put myself out there more and more. Without having Raw as my first couple of shows, I'm not sure I would have gotten to that point as quickly as I did. I think it would have been a lot harder for me to feel my way through. What I got out of it was worth much more than the investment that I put in. If I wake up and the first thing I'm thinking about is that next project I'm working on, or I gotta go sketch, or I gotta start painting these pieces because I'm really inspired and motivated to be working on them. And as long as I feel that way and I'm chasing that emotion of excitement and investment in what I'm doing, that's how I know I'm in the right way. That's why I'm here.